In the aftermath of World War I, a young woman named Constance Reed, affectionately known as Connie, finds herself embarking on a new chapter of life that promises privilege, status, and perhaps love. After marrying Sir Clifford Chatterley, a baronet of notable wealth and social rank, Connie leaves behind her life in bustling London and moves to the Chatterley estate in the remote, picturesque countryside of Rugby. The estate, though grand and elegant, is also somber, steeped in tradition, restraint, and the unspoken burden of the class system. From the outset, Connie believes she has made a sound choice in Clifford. While her sister Hilda expresses skepticism and concern over the marriage, Connie defends her husband with heartfelt conviction. She insists she loves Clifford, not just for his gentle intellect, but for his progressive ideals. Clifford, to her, represents a new kind of man, someone thoughtful and modern, capable of seeing beyond the rigid confines of aristocratic norms. Their marriage is consummated the night before he returns to the front lines of the Great War. The young couple's tender intimacy that evening hints at a hopeful future, one that will soon be overshadowed by loss and longing. Only weeks later, Clifford returns home from the war, forever changed. His injuries have left him paralyzed from the waist down, robbing him not only of mobility, but of his sexual function. The physical wounds are evident, but it is the emotional scarring that soon consumes him. Bitter over his condition, Clifford retreats into a shell of grief and denial, clinging tightly to routines, appearances, and, increasingly, control. In the early days following his return, Connie attempts to be a supportive and devoted wife. She becomes Clifford's full-time caregiver, helping him with everything from dressing to bathing to moving about the manor grounds in his mechanized wheelchair. But the burden of constant care begins to wear heavily on her, especially as Clifford grows colder and more emotionally distant. He refuses any attempt at alternative forms of intimacy and shows little interest in fulfilling Connie's needs, emotional, intellectual, or physical. Over time, Connie finds herself starving, not just for affection, but for vitality, for life. The vibrant, inquisitive woman she once was begins to fade, replaced by someone weary, isolated, and invisible. Clifford, too, undergoes a change, but one more insidious. As his body weakens, his desire for dominance grows. He pours himself into the management of the estate and the coal mines that support it, determined to assert power where he can. His political views harden. His behavior becomes increasingly controlling. He speaks dismissively of women, restricts Connie's movements, and treats the mine workers and servants with cruel condescension. With their marriage now void of love and compassion, Clifford's thoughts turn to legacy. Desperate for an heir, but unable to produce one himself, he proposes that Connie discreetly take a lover solely for the purpose of becoming pregnant. To him, it is a practical solution to an unfortunate problem, but to Connie, it is yet another sign of how little he understands or values her. Her spirit continues to deteriorate under the weight of her loveless, suffocating existence. Concerned for her sister's deteriorating health and joyless demeanor, Hilda visits Rugby and immediately sees the toll Clifford has taken on Connie. Horrified by her exhaustion and depression, Hilda takes action. She hires Mrs. Bolton, a practical and warm-hearted woman, to assume the role of Clifford's caregiver. For the first time in years, Connie is free from her daily servitude. The change marks the beginning of her emotional awakening. One day, Connie is sent on a seemingly mundane errand to check on the estate's pheasant chicks at a nearby cottage. There, she meets Oliver Mellors, the gamekeeper. Oliver is quiet, brooding, and somewhat mysterious, a stark contrast to the aristocrats Connie is used to. Like her, he is a war veteran, and like her, he bears invisible wounds. His wife has left him. His past is murky, and his present is filled with solitude. But beneath the rough exterior, Connie senses depth, gentleness, and a quiet kind of defiance. Their first meeting is brief, but something stirs within Connie, an instinct, a curiosity, a pull she can't quite explain. She finds reasons to return to the cottage, under the pretense of checking the birds or delivering books. Each visit deepens their connection, their silences saying more than words ever could. Eventually, the simmering tension gives way to passion. Their first sexual encounter is not just an expression of desire, but a reclamation of life. With Oliver, Connie rediscovers touch, tenderness, and the raw intensity of being truly seen. Their affair blossoms in secret, fueled by both erotic longing and emotional resonance. They meet whenever they can, in the woods, in the cottage, under the open sky. These moments are fleeting but transformative. Connie, for the first time in years, feels alive. Oliver treats her as an equal, speaks to her with honesty, and embraces her whole being. Their love is not just physical, it is radical in its intimacy, a rebellion against the social structures that have confined them. However, secrecy cannot last forever. Connie begins to suspect she is pregnant and devises a plan to legitimize her future child in the eyes of society. She suggests to Clifford that she travel to Venice with Hilda under the guise of having an affair suitable for conception. Clifford surprisingly agrees. As the rumor mill turns, townsfolk assume the Chatterleys are actively trying to conceive. But Oliver is devastated when he hears of the Venice plan. He believes he has been used, reduced to a means to an end. Hurt and betrayed, he confronts Connie, who assures him of her love and loyalty. She has no desire for anyone else. She wants to be with him, and only him. Before leaving for Venice, Hilda learns of Connie's affair and is dismayed. She fears for her sister's reputation, her future. Still, Hilda grants Connie the dignity of one final night with Oliver. As their time together grows short, the world around them begins to close in. Oliver's estranged wife's new partner, a brutish man named Ned, visits the gamekeeper's cottage and stumbles upon signs of the affair. His discovery is soon relayed to the townspeople through pub gossip. When Clifford hears the rumors, he is outraged. Not out of heartbreak, but pride and embarrassment. He fires Oliver without hesitation. Connie, unaware of this development, leaves for Venice, heartbroken but determined. Before parting, she and Oliver vow to find each other again. Their love, though battered by scandal and separation, remains intact. In Venice, Connie is surrounded by opulence, but also judgment. The whispers follow her. A noblewoman who dared to fall in love with a working-class man. The scandal is too great, the gossip too cruel. Months pass, and the freedom she sought abroad turns hollow. She yearns not for escape, but for truth. For Oliver. Back in England, Mrs. Bolton spreads word discreetly. Lady Chatterley is seeking her lover. Eventually, a letter arrives. It is from Oliver. He has secured a new home and a job in Scotland. The message is simple, direct, and filled with longing. Come to me. Connie does not hesitate. She returns to England and drives to the address. There, in the quiet countryside, she finds him. Their reunion is tender and full of unspoken emotion. They embrace, two souls who defied the world for love, no longer bound by class, expectation, or fear. Connie, once trapped in the gilded cage of duty and decorum, is finally free. She chose passion over position, love over legacy, and in doing so, reclaimed her life. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video if you like it. See you in the next video.